What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Scott Boys, and welcome back to another team captain interview. I'm with the team TUG captain interview. Captain today for his interview. No actual announcements to make though, so we're going to go straight into it. I'm with Vamp. What's going on, Vamp?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, thanks for not even mentioning I fucked up my intro there, but you know, we go. That's actually the first time I've actually fucked up my intro. So five videos and fucked up once. Okay, I'm taking it. I usually fuck up every video.
Just roll with it,
Yeah.
man. Act like it didn't even happen.
Yeah. So Vamp, I asked every team captain, how confident are you going into the tournament, which starts next week?
Pretty confident. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there are certain threats that I'm fully aware of, and I've made like the team fully aware of certain threats that we need to sort of focus on. I'm pretty confident. I'm not gonna sort of underestimate certain teams. Obviously, we know that there's those teams that are threats out there, but confidence-wise, we're confident with what we're doing, and I'm confident in the lads that if we perform the way I know we can give majority of the teams a run for their money. We can potentially sort of go through and push, but it's all going to be down to the games. You can't really knock it until you've played the game. The game can change everything. Whether you've got the most confidence in the world, even if you've got that, one game can change that entirely. So we're confident going in, but obviously everything can change if it needs can.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. For me personally, going for confidence wise, I like every form of as long as there is confidence there, I respect every form of confidence. Whether it's just like overconfidence, I respect it. Like your kind of confidence, like confident but kind of reserved about it. I like that as well, because it's still saying, okay, I know we're fucking good, I know we can do this, however we still need to be aware of this happening. That's what I respect.
Yeah, to me, confidence is key. You've got to have confidence, otherwise if you don't have confidence, it's just going to go downhill. So you must have the confidence, but for me, the way that I see it, I always like to locate the threats. If I can't see a threat, then I'm worried. I always like to know about the threats. So yes, I'm confident in the team, but I always look at the threats and take that into account. So I don't like overcompensate my confidence. I'm confident in what we do. I'm confident in how we play. I know we can perform. But like I said earlier, at the end of the day, it all comes down to the games. The games can change in a matter of minutes.
Exactly. Right now, we're going to jump right into the main portion of the video now. We're going to go for a bracket prediction here. So I'm going to run you through the games, ask you your scoreline, why you think that, and basically ask you if the other team that you're thinking is going to lose can basically do anything to change that. Is there anything like they can exploit or something they can work on that they've got? Okay, so we're starting off with your team's matchup in the first round. We've got your team versus Sam's team in a best of 5.
This isn't me being overconfident, but I honestly think this is going to be a 3-0.
Okay, why's that?
Now, obviously, we've scrimmed against them quite a few times. I know they've been working on a lot of stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see what that work's progressed into as a team. See how they perform in this tournament as a team. But from past experience, I think that sometimes, like us as a team, especially scrimming against them, we've been able to sort of manipulate the playstyle of the games quite effectively. And I think due to that, I think we should be able to clean up that set 3-0. Don't get me wrong, it is very, very potential that they could get the one game against us, but I don't reckon they'll get more than one game against us. Okay. I think if they get one game against us, it's going to be down to a team fight that we've made a mistake in, or we've sort of overcompensated on a certain player and sort of missed out another one, and they take advantage of that. I think the best for them, the best way to get over that would be to look for those mistakes, and when we do make mistakes, or if we do make mistakes, to utilize that for themselves, rather than just sort of letting it go. If they can do that, then I can see them potentially giving us a run, but I think it's going to be a 3-0 win against them, possibly 3-1 if they can get a nice team fight in one of the games.
Okay, perfect. So moving right down to the bottom side of the bracket, we've got Don King's team, which is the 6th seed versus 3rd seed Alpha's team. What have we got for that? A best of 5.
See, I'm not. I I reckon it's going to be an interesting one. I think Alpha's team are going to come out on top. To put numbers into it, I'd say potentially, probably. I reckon it's probably going to be a 3-1, possibly 3-2. But I'm putting my money on a 3-1 to Alpha's lot. But to me, that's going to be an interesting game because obviously with I haven't seen personally a lot of Don King's team. I haven't seen a lot of their sort of play styles. So to me, it's going to be interesting to see them perform. And if they can come out on top, then fair play to them. But I've seen Alpha's team perform. They're not a team to be taken lightly. And I think they're going to go out that set at 3-1.
Okay, perfect. So we move down to the 5th, 6th placement match, so we can get a sort of hard seeding because everyone going to this tournament was soft seeded by me with how I think the scrims have gone. So it's going to be Don King's team versus Sam's team in a best of 3 in a 5th, 6th match.
Right.
And I'll give you a bit of backstory to this because this adds the intrigue to every captain, and every captain has said that this is going to be a great game to watch for all the wrong reasons. Don King got kicked off his own team by Sam and Anders. So it's kind of like did they make the right choice?
Yeah. I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of the situation with Don King getting kicked off that team. Now, to me, I see that matchup as a revenge match for Don King. I think the fact that, honestly, I reckon in that matchup, Sam and Anders might end up focusing Don King, and I think that's going to be their downside. If they focus, like, there's all well and good focusing a player. If they focus him too much, they could potentially lose the match or lose the series because of that. It's going to be a good game. I can't wait to watch it. That I can't put my money on. It's going to be a 3-2 either way.
Oh, it's best of 3. Best of 3-2 or so. You're saying 2-1.
So
Yeah.
2-1. Yeah. If it's best of 3, then 2-1. Whatever team it is. I can't put money on either one of them, but it's definitely going to be a 2-1. It's going to go to the third game.
I will just sum up why everyone thinks this is a good game, and Vamp, you can agree with me or not. It's going to be a good game because it's going to be very close, but it's not going to be the highest caliber of Smite.
Yeah, that's the game I reckon we're going to see the most unconventional picks possibly in that one.
Oh my god.
I can see some very, very unconventional picks coming out from either side on that game. It's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, like you said earlier, for all the wrong reasons, it's going to be those interesting picks. Those things that people don't notice, like, for instance, if jungle from one team rotates over to the other jungle, crosses through mid, and mid doesn't notice that, that's going to be the sort of thing that's going to make that game
for me though, my one worry for this set is as everyone else, like the players in this tournament, the higher players going into the further rounds, going to get a bit bored watching this set because say if neither team know how to end or like don't go for an objective at the right time and it just goes on and on and on.
I can fully understand where you're coming from, and I can see where you're coming from, and that reminds me of the start of the season. When sieging Phoenixes was near on impossible as a 5-man versus 5-man. It was a back and forth game. But I reckon that game, it's not going to be boring. You are going to be stuck to it like glue because you are just going to want to see everything that happens. Even in those late games, like, yes, people might mistime objectives. Yes, people might mistime like tower takes and things like that, and you might see the occasional death to a tower or even a death to a minion possibly. Like, you never know. But I think it's going to be such a good game to watch, especially in the sieging. It's going to be so good to watch each team and how they're going to siege against each other, because I think it's going to be one of those unconventional sieges. It's not going to be that typical, right, 5-man down mid, right, someone's going to go to right, take that tower if it's still up, then come back to mid and carry on sieging. You might even see like two people on left, two people on right, one person in mid, all pushing and sieging at the same time. It's going to be that kind of siege that you're going to be looking at this, and you're going to be stuck to it like glue. It's going to be an amazing series to watch.
I mean, yeah, okay. So moving on to the semi-finals, your team versus Giannis's team in a best of 5. Now I know you've had because we spoke quite in depth before the video, and you had a lot to say about this set. So this is your chance.
This set is, to me, our most threatening set. Even if we get past this, I think it's still going to be the toughest set of the tournament for us. Us versus Giannis's team, it's going to be an interesting one. Now, I've heard predictions through grapevines of what this game might turn out, and I completely disagree with those predictions that were made. I think this is going to be a very close game. If both teams perform how they know they can perform, if our team and Giannis's team perform at the highest caliber they can, it's going to be a very, very good and very, very close game. Mm-hmm. And I reckon it's going to be 3-2. Whether or not it's us or them, I can't say. But obviously, I'd love it to be us to come out on top. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if they outperform us and they can take advantage of certain things, they know how to roll with that. So it's going to be a 3-2.
I don't mean to like push you, but for bracket purposes, I'm gonna need you to pick a side on this one.
I'm gonna have to say my team. I'm gonna have to.
3-2, you guys. Oh yes, this is gonna be it. This is interesting now. This is interesting.
I'm gonna have to say it.
This is interesting. For once,
it's gonna be close. But...
For once, guys, you've heard it here first. It's the first interview where the finals will be different. Yes, I'm loving this already. Okay, so going on to the bottom side of the bracket, we have Annex, which is Lolly's and Alan Barr's team, and Dead Hour of them lot, versus Alpha's team. Another grudge match. Lolly against his old team.
Yeah.
In a best of 5.
That's going to be an interesting one. But I think Lolly's team might come out on top on this one over Alpha's. Because Lolly's a good player. I think that him going, joining the new team that he's on and leaving and everything, it's going to be interesting, especially with seeing sort of people playing roles that they weren't sort of playing beforehand. But I honestly think Lolly's team might come out on this one. I'm going to call it I'm going to put my guts on the line here, and I'm probably going to get grilled for this, but I reckon it's going to be a 3-1 to Lolly. Okay.
Perfect. Right. Okay, so going into the third, fourth match, which is a best of 3 again. The placement match is a best of 3s. Giannis's team versus Alpha's team in a best of 3.
Giannis.
Yeah,
that's not a question. Giannis is going to win. Giannis's team are going to win that. I reckon it's going to be a 2-1 again. I'm not going to say that obviously that they're going to win 2-0. They've got the potential to win 2-0, I think, but I think that it's going to be a 2-1, purely because I reckon with the previous bracket with us versus Giannis, coming from that and coming from a potential loss from that, I reckon that might hit the morale pretty hard. And I think that could affect them in one of the games, and I think it's going to be a 2-1. But I think Giannis's team will come out on top of that one.
Perfect. Okay, so going on to the grand finals, which is another grudge match, believe it or not. Yep. Eddie against his old team. In a best of 5.
This one's going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I can see either one going well. It's going to be a case. This is going to be another series like us versus Giannis. It's going to be a case of who can take advantage of the mistakes and who can utilize the best out of the early game going into the mid to be able to control the late game. I think it's going to be I'm not going to be cocky here, but this is just being truthful. I think this is going to be a 3-1, and I'm saying that's to us.
Oh.
The reasoning for this, that listen to me first, that the reasoning for this is Eddie leaving. Eddie's got a very particular playstyle, and I think him leaving them might have affected them more than they might have realized. Because Eddie's playstyle is a case of, when it comes to mid to late game, Eddie is very, very powerful, and I think that might be that little bit of extra power that they might be missing, might actually end up affecting them. And I'm going to go 3-1 on that one. That's not me blowing on my own horn. That's not me being really cocky. That's being me truthful. I do see them as a viable threat, but I see them as, it's probably going to go to the case of, game-wise, it's going to go 1-1. Then I reckon we'll pick up the third game, and after we pick up the third game, we're just going to roll with the momentum and go forward with the next game and just 3-1.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to get a pentakill in every game.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm joking.
Me as a support, I tell you what, me as a support, if I can pick up a pentakill, I don't care who's voting. If my guy, me as a support, picks up a pentakill in any of the games, I'm declaring myself MVP, because no support should pick up a pentakill in this tournament.
Unfortunately, for the MVP rules, you can't vote for somebody on your own team. Unfortunately.
Well, you guys better vote for me if I get that pentakill.
Okay, so moving on to the next bit, we're gonna go back to the other team. But actually, I'm gonna get a quick run through everyone. So, what Vamp is saying is 6th place. So which one are you leaning towards more? It's like 51-49, Chris or Sam? Donking or Sam? 51-49.
What, for 6th, for finishing bottom?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to lean towards Sam's finishing bottom.
Okay, so Sam's team bottom, Don King's team's 5th, so they move up one. Alpha's team moves down to 4th. Giannis's team moves down from 1st to 3rd. Lolly's team stays the same, and well, Alan's team. Sorry, I need to stop saying Lolly's team. It's just 'cause I'm speaking to you, and I keep saying Lolly's. Alan's team stays in 2nd, and 1st seed from 4th to 1st. It's you guys.
Yeah. I see us as a lot of people. Like I fully understand where people have come from, putting us as the 4th in the final rankings. I can see that perfectly, but I think when it comes down to game time, we are going to shock people. We've been putting work in. We've been working hard on certain strategies. We've been working hard on sort of fixing what we knew we needed to fix. And going into this, me personally, I knew that we weren't in the top 3 favourites to come in the top 3. I knew that personally, and I've been working with the lads to try and make sure that we will end up in that top 3. That's my goal. Obviously, with the brackets, I've declared what I think is going to happen. I potentially, with that, I think we will end up coming out quite high. Obviously, with the rankings that we've discussed, coming out on number 1. But ultimately, I think bottom line is we're coming in top 3. Don't care what anybody says. That's what we're doing.
My
nobody's
guy.
going to stop us.
My guy. I love that. Love that. Right. Moving on to the next topic. I'm going to go through all the teams, ask you for a standout player. Now, I'm going to go in order of the soft seeding, because it's the way I do it with everyone else. So, obviously, your team will be the 4th when I go, like, stuff like that. So, we'll start from the bottom. So, Don King's team. I know you don't know anyone but Don King, but, like, I've tried to describe some sort of play style. So, like,
yeah, you
obviously,
went through roughly with me before the video.
Yeah. So, who do you think will be their standout player?
Interesting one. I think potentially their mid laner. Their mid laner, I potentially think would be the standout. Because to me, a lot of the fights in this tourney are going to end up being around that mid lane. If not, it'll be around an objective or duo. And I think from what from what you went sort of through with me with playstyle wise and sort of what I've heard, I think their mid laner is definitely one to watch from that team. I wouldn't take them lightly.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on to Sam's team. Who is your standout player for that team?
Oh god. Oh. See.
I know you don't want to say his name. I know you don't want to say his name, but you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to say him.
Going into this, I really didn't think I was going to say this. I really didn't, because it's a bit of rivalry. But from what I've heard from people saying that he's sort of come on leaps and bounds. He's been really practicing, really sort of motivated and improving. And if he can prove that, I think he's definitely going to be the MVP on their team, definitely by far. I don't want to say it, but it's going to have to be Anders. It's going to have to be. but at the end of the day, like, that's all down to the fact that if he has come on leaps and bounds. If he hasn't come on leaps and bounds, there's no way he's going to be their MVP. But if he has, then he's got the potential to, but purely because in that role, it's all about control. If he can get that control and he can win them those fights that they need to, he can potentially sort of win the games for them.
I mean, looking at it with Anders is the case of, okay, he's come on leaps and bounds in like their practices and stuff like that, but can he translate it to when it matters?
Exactly, that's the thing. So it's all good saying he's come on leaps and everybody's saying he's come on leaps and bounds in practice and everything else like that. But when it comes down to game time, he's going to have to prove that. If he cannot prove that, then it's all going to go back down the drain, and he's going to have to work even harder to prove it next time. If he can prove that, then he's going to put his name sort of out there. People are going to see, right, this guy actually. He's pretty good. Like we might have to watch out for him.
Yeah.
But it's down to game time. He's going to have to prove that to everybody.
Okay. So your team, who would you say your standout player is going into this tournament? Now I know this is hard. Like it might be a hard one. It might not be, because your team's got like a bunch of like individually very good players.
So with our team, like for us, it's a team. I see us as a team, so it's very hard for me to go, this is who I expect to be our outstanding player.
Okay. So give an argument for the people you think would most likely to the public be that then. So if you've got a couple, give like an argument for a couple.
To me, sort of, for me, if I had to pick sort of, I'd say I'll pick 2 out of our 5, to make it a little bit easier and speed it up a little bit. For me, the first one's going to be our solo lane. Cam, he is an incredible solo laner. He knows how to play that role in and out, and some of the occasions that he's managed to sort of like, he can make ganks work when they shouldn't be working with people they shouldn't be working with, and when he pulls this off, it's incredible to watch. Honestly is, and he has in the past won us team fights single-handedly on his own, purely because of his actions. So I see Cam running up there with MVP for our team. Other person who I think is going to be MVP. Now this is a tough one. I'd have to pick it between Eddie and Dean. Dean switching roles. He's proved himself. Everybody knew him as a jungler. He's proved himself as a mid laner, exactly the same caliber. If he performs, he's no doubtably going to probably be MVP for our team. But then again, you've got Eddie in jungle, and Eddie's Eddie.
I'd say it's a safe pick. It's such a safer pick. Like,
yeah, Eddie is Eddie. Eddie is so strong. He is naturally strong, naturally a good jungler. Everybody knows that, and the plays Eddie can perform is just incredible. Like I've played against Eddie, and some of the stuff he's pulled on even me is just, even I'm gobsmacked at some of the stuff that he's pulled up on me. So top 2 is going to be Eddie and Cam, my jungle and my solo laner. I wouldn't be able to pick between the two. Both of them are so viable. Both of them can single-handedly win us a team fight. It's
Yeah.
going to be a case of who performs better on the day.
As you said though, what you really did bring out is the team thing. But anyone on your team, in your opinion, can just like show up and just go, okay, I'm gonna win us this game.
Yeah. I don't see team as a word or team as a title of a group of players. Team for me is an anagram. Nobody knows what the team anagram is. Team stands for together, everyone achieves more. I stick to that. I always will. I always have. And to me, team is like a chain. If one link breaks, the whole chain becomes unusable. If all the links in the chain stay as strong as they can, the chain is thick, robust. It's gonna do the job. It's gonna get the job done. That's what a team's about, and that's what we're about.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on to Alpha's team. Now, who is their standout to you?
If you quickly run through the roster again with me.
So
jungle
Jungle Alpha, mid is Haha.
Yep.
Support is Ice Wolf, and ADC is Mushroom.
I'm gonna say Haha in mid.
Yeah, so that's the stand. That's what a lot of people have said, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say is gonna be that outstanding player. Haha is a very, very, very strong player. He can pull off stuff that is incredible to watch, and I love just seeing him play. And I think he's definitely going to be a threat. If anybody's sort of underestimating Haha, don't. You're an idiot. Simple as that.
Right. Okay. So moving on to Alan's team, which is obviously Alan Barr, Lolly, Dead Arrow, Pleb, Chris Fade. Your standout player. Now, this is where I get my little rant, by the way. So if you don't say the player I think, I'm going to rant about it because he's still not been said yet. He's never been mentioned for this team, and I still think he's the best player in this tournament.
Oh, okay. So if he's never been said, then I easily know who the most common threat I think people are saying is on that team. So, but I will reassure you, I'm not thinking the same as everybody else.
Well, this team actually, no, this team is a split so far. There's four, so there's 4 players on this team. 3 of them have been named so far.
3 of them have been named.
Yeah, one of them's got 2, and the other 2 have been named once.
Right. Well, this is going to be interesting because I might be saying the person that I believe is MVP. And I don't think there's a sort of a question in that team about it. They're all very good players, but for me, he's the one guy that I see as the biggest threat on that team. That's going to be Alan.
Okay, I'm going to have to respect the opinion. I always respect everyone's opinions. But why has there been 5 interviews and not one fucker has said Ollie yet? Not one fucker has said Ollie yet.
To me, it's a matter of like everybody views the game differently.
The funny thing is though, right? You're like, okay, I don't think I'm going for the standard pick. You went for the most popular pick.
Did I actually? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Everybody went for Alan.
Well, Alan's got
guy.
Alan. It was you, Sam, and Chris. Don King went for Alan.
My guy.
Alan went for Pleb, and Giannis went for Chris Fade.
Nah. I definitely think Alan's a threat. He's not one to be taken lightly.
Oh, yeah, no, I love Alan. Alan's a good guy. My fellow Scotsman.
He is. He is a good guy, and I reckon he's just going to be able to pull it out of the hat when it needs to be pulled out, and he's going to be able to do what he needs to do, and that's why I think he's going to be my MVP on that team. Again, that team is a very strong team. That team is a team. It's not a case of a load of single players. That team is a very strong unit. But I think out of that unit, Alan is sort of the head of the unit, sort of. He's the one leading the charge, in my opinion. He's the one that's going to be the most outstanding player.
I think I'm just going to have to make my own Ollie fan page, I think, at this rate. I'm just gonna
I
have
have
to.
to.
Like,
Well, you never
also,
know.
also, I'm gonna throw a disclaimer out there. If Ollie wins MVP of this tournament, I can guarantee you, I definitely didn't rig it. I definitely didn't just ignore everyone else's votes. I'm promising you that.
You know for a fact he gets MVP. Everybody's going to be accusing you of rigging it.
Every captain's just gonna be like, hold on a minute, who the fuck voted for him? Did you vote for
Yeah.
him? Because I didn't.
It's going to be a case of, we all know who rigged this one.
No, like I asked Donking the MVP question at the end, like last video, and he went, "Oh, it's between Eddie and Ollie for me," and I was like, "So you're telling me your opinion is the two people for MVP is my two favorite people in this tournament?" He was like, "Yeah, pretty much." No, okay, so moving on to Giannis's team. Obviously, Ollie Hacks, PG Lake, Giannis, Romy, and Rising Draconic. MVP,
No,
please.
no doubt about it, it's Giannis.
Okay,
No doubt
That's
about that.
So basically, okay, I'll run you through it. So you were the only person who said the mid lane for Donking's team.
Yep.
Everyone has said Anders for Sam's team.
Yep.
Everyone has, apart from Giannis, 'cause Giannis didn't have Eddie to pick from, so I think he said Dean.
Yeah.
Or Dean, I think. But everyone's mentioned Eddie.
Yep.
Everyone has either said Haha or Alpha for that team.
Yeah, that's what I was
Then
torn-
obviously no
torn
one
between.
said Ollie yet, so I'm kind of sitting here in the corner crying about this because I'm feeling maybe I'm just retarded now for thinking this, like thinking he's just
Well,
some
maybe-
insane player.
You never know. You could prove all of us wrong.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
you could come out and
he's
stomp everyone.
Ollie's gonna get a pentakill in the finals.
Oh, yeah,
He's
you
gonna
heard
get a
it here
penta in the
first. You
final.
heard it here
I know everybody but Giannis said Giannis for MVP for his team.
Yep. Giannis
said-
is MVP by far. Giannis is their brains. There's no doubt about it. Giannis is that team's brains because Giannis is just that good. I'm not going to joke around. He is one of I reckon the biggest threats in the tournament as a player. The way he can control his team as a unit and help his team work as a unit, and the way he can control a game is incredible. And I don't think that if you take Giannis out of the equation on that team and ask if for an MVP on the team without Giannis being on that, it would be hard to pick, because to me Giannis sort of brings out the best of each one of them, and that's what makes him MVP in my eyes, because he's the one that brings out the best in the others.
See, I'm like a proud parent here for Giannis. You know, it's kind of like a proud parent moment. You know, I mean, I was the first person to pick him up for his very first team, and then it's like a proud parent moment. He's come on loads.
Yeah, Giannis is incredible. Like I said, he's one of the biggest threats in my eyes, and he's definitely going to prove it.
However, Giannis, if you dare think you're better than my Ollie, fuck off. No, I'm only saying that because he messaged me after my last video saying, "Jesus Christ, you're such an Ollie fanboy," and I was like, "Yeah, pretty much, pretty much."
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. He's definitely going to be MVP in that team, though.
Okay. Okay. So moving on to the next one. Is there any team you want to face in specifically?
Yeah, we're already facing him.
Okay.
Giannis' team.
Perfect.
Giannis was the team that I wanted to face no matter what, whether it was going to be in the finals, whether it was going to be in the first round. Luckily, we've got him in the second round. That's the team I wanted to face. That's the team that we are going to prove us as a team how good we are, and we are going to prove it against Giannis. And the reason I wanted to play against Giannis' team is because I know how good that team is. And it's going to make for a very good series. Like I said earlier, it's going to be a very close series, a very good series, and that's the team I, going into this, wanted to play no matter what the seedings were. And I'm very glad that we are playing them in the second round.
Okay, so obviously I spoke to before the video about this last question, and I said we'd go into more detail on the roundtable to get more in-depth answers in case anything changed. So I'm going to be doing an MVP, obviously for the tournament, the entire tournament after it finishes, with all the captains getting a vote. Who do you think you can name a couple of players, obviously, because I'm not.
Right.
Who do you think is? It doesn't even have to be who the standout players of your team, because like obviously you went for like say for okay this guy's most likely to be it, but like okay who do you think will most likely get the MVP award without me rigging it?
Without you rigging it.
Without me rigging it.
To me, it's going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to come down to a case of when picking MVP. It's not going to be a case of right, what guys are in the final. It's going to be one of these as MVP. Not a doubt in my mind says that anybody has a run for this MVP in this tournament. Anybody does. Even my fellow supports out there. My fellow supports. I know that we can get one of us in that picking order. We are so valuable as players. But for personally, if I had to pick a MVP in the entire tournament,
you're kind of in an unfortunate situation here, though, Vamp. I mean,
what?
You're kind of in your only support that's a captain, so
yeah,
you're the only one that can vote for a support.
I know, it sucks.
I mean, there's two solo laners. I mean, there's 3 junglers and a support.
Yeah, don't ever underestimate the support though, guys. The support's the brains. You realise that sometimes. But I think overall, the tournament, it's going to be very close. I'm easily going to put my man Eddie up there. Eddie is if he performs to the caliber I know he can perform, Eddie is definitely going to be a very top contender in MVP. Again, I think Giannis has a chance at getting MVP on this one if he can perform at his high caliber that I know he can. The other person I want to say it's tied between 2. If I had to pick one, I'm going to say Haha. I think Haha might be enough for a run of it. So I reckon the 3 MVPs for me.
You can say the other one if you want. They can say the other one if you want.
I'm gonna keep it as 3 for now. Because it's gonna be close, but my top 3 personally is gonna be between Eddie, Giannis, and Haha. I think they're gonna be the 3 guys to watch out for in the tournament. They're gonna be the 3 guys to watch for as to how they're playing, what they're doing, what plays they're pulling off, how they're being able to pull this off, and how valuable those plays are. A lot of people can make plays that, yes, you've got a kill, but what have you got out of it? And other people can say, yes, I may have died, but we've got 2 towers out of it. To me, dying and getting 2 towers is much, much more valuable than getting the 1 kill. Even if that 1 kill's on the ADC. ADC for 2 towers, happily trade that every single day of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, little does he know, Ollie's already won the MVP tournament anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, bring it on. Get ready for that uproar. Nah, no joke. Anybody in this tournament can win MVP. It's going to be down to
in theory
who performs on the day.
In theory, everyone can win.
In theory, without you rigging it, everybody has a chance. With you rigging it, nobody has a chance.
I promise I will do my best not to rig it.
No, you need to promise you won't rig it. Not do your best not to, but not too straight up.
Okay, I promise I won't obviously rig it.
Obviously, yeah, so he's going to do it slyly, guys. No, make it a close run, but
only a few votes will get changed, you know? Oh, you said Ali. Oh, I thought you said Ollie. Oh, my bad.
Sorry, guys, it's already been announced. Can't change that now.
Oh, well, maybe next time, boys. Right, anyway, Vamp, is there any shout-outs you want to give before I let you go?
Just shout-out to all the teams that are participating. It's going to be a great tournament. Can't wait to play the games. And I just can't wait to see what people are playing. Like, I want to see those spicy picks. I do not want to see a boring tournament. I do not want to see same old better, the game in, game out. I want to see a spice pick thrown in there. To me, I reckon this is going to be me personally, and I'm a guy that keeps my promises. For me, the person that picks up my favorite spice pick and can perform well with that, maybe you might lose game, but if you lose the game, but if you perform exceptionally well with a spice pick that someone might not expect, or you might throw it in, I will throw in a £10 gift card for PSN.
Oh, so you heard it here first, boys. You heard it here first. No, but I'm really happy that everyone's excited for this tournament, and like everyone's getting involved. Like I've had messages off people who aren't captains, like PG Link, for example. He messaged me last night asking me questions about it, and this is the sort of thing what I was hoping for when I came up with the idea for this, because
Yeah, to me, it's a very good idea, and I can't wait to get more going in the future.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
excited,
going to
man.
be amazing. Especially more teams coming into it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
the
looking
more
forward
teams
to.
we get, the bigger we can run. It's going to be amazing just seeing this grow and grow and grow.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, your set actually starts on Tuesday.
Yep.
So I don't know if anyone's streaming that. I think Dean might be, but I'm not sure.
I will have to check with Dean. I'm not entirely sure on that situation at the moment.
But no, so
If any of us
if he
are
is
doing it.
streaming it, I will make sure we'll make sure we find a way to direct everyone towards it. So yeah. Show your love for everyone coming to this tournament. I've only got one captain left to do, and then obviously my interview, and then hopefully a round table with the captains. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are enjoying this series and looking forward to the tournament. So later, guys. Bye.